Welcome to today's TechByte. We are just around the corner uh, to bid farewell to 2025. And of course, we are now looking forward to 2026, trying to understand some of the trends and patterns which will be important for 2026 overall for the economy as well as for some specific sectors. Now, in today's Tech Byte, I want to identify and highlight about super smartphones. The trend has just begun. We have seen, especially after the launch of two wonderful platforms by Snapdragon Qualcomm as well as MediaTek Dimensity, their latest flagship chipsets, how these two chipsets are now powering the super smartphones and why are they super smartphones at the first instance. Now, when we are looking at smartphones, of course, there has been, an organic progression and evolution in their uh, performance, in the experience, and in their use cases, and even, what they can usually do. But when we look at these super smartphones, which are, priced anywhere above 50,000, especially, I would say they are mostly priced about 60, 70,000 rupees. What is so great in them and what is it trying to probably convey? We tested a lot of these super smartphones, almost all of them, and found out some similarities in them. I would encourage that you read out our latest Insights Pro to get the entire details. But here I can tell you in summary that these phones have performance or speed capabilities almost 2x of the normal smartphones, or what is right now the average or speed or average performance benchmarks of the smartphone industry. These super smartphones are offering almost double that speed or that performance, and that's why we at Techarc are calling them super smartphones. There are some other interesting elements also, and as I said, we have detailed it out in the Insights Pro. But let me talk about how I see and how we at TechArc see that how is this going to impact the overall smartphone industry? What does it mean for premium users? And what does it mean especially for premium Android? That's something interesting to understand. Now, let's look at the history or the story of smartphones so far. We know when the quote unquote Chinese brands came on the surface. Now they had only one mantra or one simple strategy that pamper users, give them a lot at the price, so that when they start comparing others or comparing with others, they will feel that yes, these are offering a very elevated experience and very elevated. There is great value for money in them. And that was not just it was not superficial, but in reality also when we started experiencing these phones, we saw a lot of utility in them. We saw a lot of performance difference than what others were offering at that point of time. And that's how they started becoming favorites of users even when there were issues with them. Now, that's exactly probably what's now happening with the super smartphone category. We all know that somehow premium or flagship segment is synonymous to iPhones. And from Android, only Samsung has been able to get access of this cohort of users. Other brands have been, so to say, not so successful so far, or they have been trying to get into this. But we have also to understand that probably this segment was not in their focus so far. But things are now changing. I think they are wanting to break this barrier. Most of these, Chinese smartphone brands, be it Vivo, Oppo, Xiaomi, OnePlus, Realme, all of them, uh, consumers are comfortable in spending maybe 30, 40, 50,000 for these brands, but not beyond that. And that's what now they are trying to address with these super smartphones. So I would not take it as a simple premiumization. I don't believe in premiumization. I have talked a lot about it. So you can watch earlier videos or, see a lot of stuff on techarc.net where we have said that why it's not premiumization. So what would now these OEMs are trying to do with super smartphones. One, they are offering you, as I said, double the performance, double the experience, all the latest, generations of technologies of various key components. And of course, it is resulting in very, very elevated experience. The I would say the experience orbit of these phones is entirely different than others. So it's at a different altitude. Uh, so what we are now seeing here is that these brands are now coming with this next level of experience, which uh, honestly I think iPhone doesn't have yet to offer, and which also now is or should be a concern, or at least Samsung should be thinking in this direction, because what will happen, even if iPhone is not offering this kind of experience, iPhone still has its own followership, its own loyalty, where users in this premium segment will still go for iPhone, even if maybe it doesn't match the benchmarks. But when someone is looking for a premium phone in, say, Android ecosystem, that's where then users will gradually start to switch to these brands, and especially through super smartphones, where they will, of course, find Samsung not offering that kind of experience, or at least that kind of performance benchmarks. That's something interesting. It's going to redefine, in our opinion, the entire premium space. What we have been seeing so far, that in premium there were only two players of Apple and Samsung. We will now see gradually these players getting an entry into it, and all these super smartphone makers like Vivo, Oppo, iQOO, OnePlus, Realme, they will all start getting up some market share in the segment. That's very, very interesting. It's not just going to influence the present of market, but in 2026 you are going to see how this will influence this lux segment, what we call above 50,000 segment, where we will gradually now start seeing more brands getting featured on the market buy. That's what I had to share in today's Tech Byte. Would love to have your views on it. What do you feel? Will you go for a super smartphone? Why and why not? Would love to hear your views. I'll be back with you. Till then, enjoy tech.